Yes, sir. Manscaped. You see them everywhere. You get the products, you try them. I tell you, the boxers are pretty awesome. They're very supportive, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways,
Gotta
if you want to get
support
a,
the boys.
that's right. If you want to get a pair or, try something else, go to manscaped.com. Use our promo code SUPERFLEX20. You'll get 20% off. You'll get free shipping.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Yards After the Catch. Don't worry, Bandy's still here. Fourth and flex. We're gonna go ahead and set that middle tier according to ADPs on quarterbacks. We're gonna see a lot more popular names here, and you brought it up at the end of the last video that we're gonna see names in this second section after round 6, probably to round 12 or so, round 7. To round 12, and we're going to see names that probably could have bled a little bit into those first 6 rounds, but we'll talk about that. We know that mock drafts are changing the landscape right now. This is why we're talking about it. We know that your real draft is not going to go the same way, especially if you're rolling these dudes out right here. Draft Day Dice. Look, you did something with Draft Day Dice, right? You guys actually ran a mock draft with Draft Day Dice.
We did an episode just to talk about Draft Day Dice because we thought it was such an awesome idea. We did a little bonus episode, talked about it, and we did a couple rounds of like a mock draft. Me and Trey, my co-host, did, and it was fun. I mean, it was a lot funner than I even thought it would be, man.
That's the thing. Is like you don't realize how fun these things are until you roll them out. Imagine having to take a tight end in round 1 or your kicker in round 2. It could happen. DraftDayDice.com. Hey, look, if you want a free set, subscribe to Armchair Athletics, and we give these things away to all our not to all our subscribers, but we give these things away to people that subscribe. We give away lots of things to our subscribers, so go subscribe to Armchair Athletics, and while you're there, check out Fourth and Flex videos, follow the link, go subscribe to them too. A couple clicks, click, and you are in the community. You're in the club of fantastic football information. Simple subscribes. We appreciate you guys doing that for us, and we will reward you in kind. Hey, look, let's get into it. We ended on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts right now slotted in those first 6 rounds. Let's recap those just real quick. We'll put them up here on the screen. We got Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, Jackson, Murray, or Burrow, Prescott, and Hurts. I'm still kind of amazed to see the lack of names, and this is why I stutter. Like, where is that name? Why am I not saying it? But those are the names going in the first 6 rounds. So let's see how we're looking if you wait like most of us do till after round 6 to grab your quarterback. Right there at the top of the list, number 9 quarterback overall, your boy, the GOAT, Mr. Tom Brady, sliding all the way, out of the top 5 rounds, which I brought it up on the last video. I will never understand. Number 87 overall pick. It's just crazy to see the GOAT, see someone so successful for so long. Last year, number 1 in passing yards, number 2 in touchdowns, number 3 in points per game. I mean, this guy, he doesn't stop, and he's 44 years old, and he's still sliding into these 7th, 8th round tiers. I don't get it.
And don't forget, number 1 in our hearts, brother.
In some people's hearts, number 1. But why do you think he consistently goes at this level?
So, okay, when Brady was a Patriot, he did a lot of dinking and dunking. So, I mean, I could see why back then maybe he fell a little further. But now he's in Tampa. He's airing it out. He was one of, 2 quarterbacks last year that threw over 5,000 yards? Sure, he doesn't run. He doesn't run a lot, and that's what I think is the thing against him that people are going for. But he throws it and airs it out so well, so accurate. He's the guy, man, and I'm taking him as my quarterback if he falls to me. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I can understand. We're going to talk about a couple other names here that I can definitely see, but I mean, yeah, I'm not a huge fan from a sports perspective, but I mean, you can't help respect what the guy can do, and I'll definitely put him on my team, 100%. He's definitely gonna get you some gains.
Also, he picked up Russell Gage this year. Godwin's looking like he's going to come back. I mean, they got an amazing receiver core.
I don't think people know. It hasn't been publicized. I don't think a lot of people know. Let's say that again. They picked up Russell Gage this year, and I'm not putting Russell Gage in the Hall of Fame, but the guy can ball, and the fact with the playbook around, they picked up Rudolph to go along with Brate at the tight end position. You know, you've got Evans still there. Godwin he's coming back. Let's be honest. You don't not come back to play with the GOAT. You know, Fournette, he's heavy, but that just puts him through the line more. They got a nice rookie. There's no reason. And then this probably is Brady's last season, so you have to assume the dude's on a mission.
Right. Exactly. I mean, after what happened last year, he's got a bitter taste in his mouth. And historically, if he gets knocked out of the playoffs, the next year he's always come back and won the Super Bowl.
There it is. We'll see if the trend continues. Just real surprised to see him going 87th overall. That's round that is round 7. Yeah, round 7. That's wow. All right. Going ahead of him, 74th overall, but still number 10 on the ADP list is Russell Wilson. We all know why Russell's getting all the play, because he's playing for a new team. He's got some decent pieces around him, and if anybody can make those pieces look good, it's Russell Wilson.
Absolutely, yeah. Russell Wilson, I mean, he was hurt last year, so he only threw for 3,113 yards, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. But he's a Bronco now, and I think he's reinvigorated, and he's got the love of the game back, and I mean, he's got a great receiving core. He's got amazing running backs. I just don't see how you can lose with Russ this year. I think he's going to be a lot better than people are giving him credit for. I'm excited to see what Russell Wilson's going to do in Denver. That's for sure.
Yeah, top 6 finishes 5 times since 2014. Here's the one that people may not be tracking. Casual fantasy person may not realize is that in Denver, the new guy calling the shots over there is Nathaniel Hackett. Why do you care who Nathaniel Hackett is? Because he's the guy that made Aaron Rodgers look good. Aaron Rodgers got all his MVP seasons under Nathaniel Hackett. Now Nathaniel's over there with Russell Wilson. Not saying he's going to make the MVP, but it's definitely a move that matters in Denver. So Russell Wilson coming in at number 10, actually going higher than Brady right now overall, but he comes in at your number 10. Number 11, got himself some hardware, pretty new ring, and those really are awesome looking rings. Matt Stafford. When you have the number 1 receiver in the NFL, it's real easy to make a run at the Super Bowl, and guess what? He's still got them. You have to expect a little number regression here, and to be honest, I'm surprised to see Matt Stafford going at QB 11, considering he won the Super Bowl, considering he's got Cooper Kupp, but at the same time, I can also understand why.
Well, the thing about Matt Stafford, it seems like he's not getting a lot of the credit for everything going on over there. It seems like between Cooper Kupp and Odell and all them they got going on, Aaron Donald, he's not getting a lot of credit for what he did. I mean, he did throw like the most interceptions in the league, which is insane if you think about the quarterback who got sacked the most, Joe Burrow, went to the Super Bowl. The quarterback who threw the most interceptions, Matt Stafford, went to the Super Bowl. I mean, what's going on, man? I mean, football is just getting crazier and crazier. But I digress. Matthew Stafford, I think, could go even higher, honestly. I mean, he threw for almost 5,000 yards, 41 touchdowns. I mean, he's a beast. I mean, he makes a lot of little stupid decisions in the moments, but I mean, he got it done last year. And I'm not even a Rams fan. He beat my Bucks out, and I hated him. I did not want to see him win, but I'm actually pretty high on Matt Stafford this year.
Yeah, I think he's a steal. I think he's a steal if you get him that late. Because look, you brought it up perfectly. You know, the guy still finished as QB5. Let's start there. Okay, 4,800 yards, 41 touchdowns, and yeah, he had 17 interceptions. But your number 4 quarterback last year, Patrick Mahomes, career high, 16 interceptions. Justin Herbert, your number 2 quarterback, 15 interceptions. Hey, you know who else had 15 interceptions? Your number 1 quarterback, Josh Allen. Joe Burrow, 14 interceptions, 14, 15, 16, 17. Look, interceptions in these high-powered offenses, these high-scoring, big touchdown offenses, are not mattering as much. Josh Allen, 4,400 yards. Herbert had over 5,000 with his interception rate. Patrick Mahomes, 4,800 yards. Stafford, 4,800 yards. So you're talking, over 15 and up on interceptions, and it's allowing people to get almost 5,000 yards on the ground and 30, almost 40 or more touchdowns. So maybe interceptions aren't quite the measuring stick that they used to be. Matt Stafford coming in at number 11, 85 overall. I think that's a super value, and I promise you, if I'm sitting at pick 85 and Matt Stafford's on the board, he's going to be on my roster.
Yes, sir.
Number 12, obviously falling, usually never this low. Completely understandable why. Aaron Rodgers, 93rd overall. I would expect him to probably keep falling. He is, a multi-time MVP. But let's face it, he doesn't have the weapons that he had. He's on the back end of his career. No one's doubting his skill set, but you can only, one man can only do so much.
Yeah, absolutely. He threw for over 4,000 yards last year, 37 touchdowns. But that is with Devontae. I tell you what, with Aaron Rodgers, I'm not super big on Aaron Rodgers. It seemed like every time he would throw the ball, we knew who it was going to. If the ball was in the air, we know it was going to Devontae. And he would force feed him, even in moments when you had, the Lizard King out there wide open, which – this year he's going to have to learn to trust guys, and I'm interested to see what he's going to do with Christian Watson. But I think him going lower makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't really argue against it. And like I said, I honestly think he's probably going to keep dropping even lower than QB 12. Someone will take a chance on him, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him getting picked up as the second QB on people's rosters this year, which is really odd to say, but there you go. Coming in at QB 13, 104 overall, a very interesting, very highly touted pick this year. It's going to be interesting to watch him rise because he's definitely going to rise up the charts as mock season continues. The interesting again that we go from where Adams left to where Adams landed. Derek Carr out of Las Vegas.
I really like Derek Carr. Almost 5,000 yards, very close. He only had 23 touchdowns, but he's got Devontae, he's got Renfro, he's got Waller, he's got the weapons, that's for sure. So if he's got everything he needs to be successful, it's all going to be on Derek Carr's shoulders this year. So and I think he's the guy. He's going to have to prove to us this year that he is the guy, and there's no time like the present.
Yeah, I'm a little down on Waller this year. I think a lot of people are. Seems to be the consensus, which I hate going with the consensus, but I kind of agree with it. But then again, I love Hunter Renfro. Hunter is a fantastic slot guy, and to have Hunter as the backup to Adams, that only plays to Carr's favor. I think Carr can do enough. QB 13 last year. I think he breaks the top 10 this year. I think, again, a value going that late. The big thing, the knock for me against Carr is 40 sacks last year. Fifth most in the NFL, and not a lot of improvement on the line in moves this year. So it'll be interesting to see how that sack ratio affects the overall numbers.
Just hopefully they don't have a ton of things going on this year like they did last year with Gruden and all that. If everything's going as planned, they could do really well. I see them definitely at least making the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and let's not forget those numbers are also padded. The guy played an extra game and a half more than anybody else with all the overtimes. So let's not forget that as well. But I do still think he'll probably crack the top 10 this year, Derek Carr.
100%.
Number 14. Number 14 is interesting. We'll try not to spend too much time on it, but number 14 is Trey Lance. But Trey Lance at number 14 is interesting to see him going, and I think that is where you see the influence of the mock draft, and people just kind of seeing how far they can wait to grab Trey Lance.
I tell you, I'm going to catch a lot of crap for it, but I am not very high on Trey Lance. I mean,
Yeah,
everybody is super high on him, and I just don't see it. Jimmy G's not going to be there next year, so I'm thinking Trey Lance is definitely going to be the guy. I mean,
yeah,
you don't trade in the draft to get a guy you're not going to start. But I predict Jimmy G is actually probably going to be a Seahawk. But I just am not very high. I need to see more with Trey Lance, and people aren't too happy about me saying that either.
yeah. I mean, like I said, it's kind of starter by default, right? He just hasn't earned it, and so to see him go ahead of someone like our number 15, Kirk Cousins, is just interesting to me. But again, I think that is the mock draft influence. So on to 15, Kirk Cousins, QB 11 overall. Still at QB 11, still only had 19.2 points a game, and so that's kind of the thing with Cousins. You kind of get a boom or bust per week, especially with Cook and stuff there. But he's got a great receiving core. He's still got one of the best, easily a top 10 receiving core for the game. 33 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. Love those numbers. If you still believe the interceptions is a good measuring stick. Played all 16 games. Like to see that. We always kind of expect a little time off for that last game, especially depending on where you're sitting. So 16, 17 games, that's fine for me. 4,200 yards, again, respectable. I think he's probably right about where he should be, with the exception, I think he should be going ahead of Lance. I think he's going to pass Rodgers as the list irons out. But coming in at 108, that actually puts him in the 9th round. Even though he's QB 15, he's still going ahead of a couple of these guys. So, average numbers, just above average numbers. I think you'll get just above average finish, and he's a solid guy to have on your team if you waited that long.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kirk Cousins. I mean, I really am not super high or super low on Kirk Cousins. I mean, I am a little high on the Vikings. I think they're going to be one of the most improved teams this year. He's just, to me, such an average quarterback. He could be better with Thielen and Jefferson. He's got the weapons. He's got the weapons to do it. So we're just going to have
to have Cook as that safety blanket. And QB 11. QB 11 is not bad. I mean, QB 11 can get you in the playoffs.
That's what I mean. He's right there in the middle.
It's thing you can grab some great talent in the early rounds. Grab a couple, promising sleepers, and then go ahead and grab Kirk Cousins in the 9th round. There's nothing wrong with that, if you ask me. I'm okay with that. Yep. Which brings us up to another big controversial quarterback, one that a lot of people are going to move all up and down. People are going to be real excited when they get him. People are going to pass him up on purpose. Out in Miami, new recipient of Tyreek Hill, Tua, however you say his last name.
Tunga Viola.
Yeah, that's what I said. Look, Tua does have a lot of promise, doesn't he, this year? I mean...
Absolutely. I am very high on Tua. I think he could be. I think he's going to finish as a top 10 quarterback this year, not just because of Tyreek. Last year, you seen him. He had a 7-game stretch where he was just looking phenomenal. He's 2 years removed from, I think it was a hip surgery, so he should be healthy as long as he can stay that way. I think Tua is going to go off this year. I'm very excited about Tua this year.
Yeah, the Hill hype train is rolling downhill fast. Hill loves the guy on social media.
No doubt.
We don't know what he's saying when he goes home, but I mean, he's definitely hyping up his quarterback, and you like to see that from a player.
He's got to justify taking that money, baby.
Yeah. Again, another one with a smaller bag, but still a pretty good bag.
Pretty good bag.
So how does that perform? But I think Tua's got a chip on his shoulder. I think he wants to prove something because people are so down on him. I think he wants to show people that he is worth the talk, worth the positivity. He's got a great receiving core. He's got nice running core. Fantastic tight end when he shows up. The defense plays. The defense has the ability to play lights out. You might be surprised at how the Dolphins do this year behind Tua Tagovailoa. Number 17. Number 17 will not be number 17 for long. It's Justin Fields, and you see all the stuff behind me. You know who I am if you watch the show. huge The Ohio State fan. Loved me some Justin Fields in college, but I have said it before. I said it during the draft. I've said it all last year. I don't think the guy's going to pan out in the NFL. He's got a fantastic skill set. I think he's a great guy that you can bring in. I think you could run him in a lot of crazy sets just like they did at Ohio State. But I don't think he's going to be the number one guy. A lot of people predicting the Bears to be the worst team in the NFL this year. Number 17, Justin Fields.
Yeah, I'm not very high on Justin Fields, that's for sure. I mean, from what I saw last year, he was panicked, he was stressed out, he was rushed. I mean, he did have Matt Nagy there calling the plays. Maybe with a new offensive coordinator, they're gonna figure things out for him. They're gonna run the offense that works best for him. But I just don't think he's the guy. And I mean, he's gonna have to prove it to me. I have to see some solid performances out of him before I can even assume he might be the guy.
Guy finished QB 31. And so you're like, who finished 32? How did he not finish dead last? Well, you had people like Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, obviously splitting duties and stuff back there. You didn't have any real significant starters falling after him. Out of the actual season starters at quarterback, I mean, there's even a couple people ahead of him that didn't even play the whole season. You got Sam Darnold at 28, Justin Fields at 31. So look, if you're coming in behind Sam Darnold, you know that's probably a bad sign. I do love Darryl Mooney, but yeah, I'm kind of on board with the Bears being one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. So that brings up another one. This is going to be a value if he goes this far. And I'm not saying the guy's even going to break the top 10, but this guy obviously isn't going to finish as low as he did. But because of how he finished, a lot of people's draft sheets are going to have him low, and he's going to get overlooked if you don't do your homework. Number 18, Trevor Lawrence. Also finished ahead of Justin Fields last year. Only had 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, but you know what? Peyton Manning had 19 interceptions his first year. Not putting Lawrence and Manning in the same group just yet. Just saying that first year, especially with all the chaos that was happening in Jacksonville, you cannot really hold last season against Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot with Urban Meyer and all that garbage that went on last year. It just felt like the air was sucked out of the room there. And I mean, there were guys saying to other teams, please get me out of here. See if your coach will trade me. I mean, it was a mess. So I'm also giving Trevor Lawrence a mulligan for last year. Now he's got Doug Peterson, the quarterback whisperer. I really am thinking Trevor Lawrence is going to take some big steps up. They got Christian Kirk, which is a pretty average route runner. He's got decent hands. Yeah, exactly. He's got decent hands. I mean, this is the year, though, Trevor. I mean, you've got a year under your belt. It was a really messed up year, but this is the year. Show us what you're made of. Show us why they took you number 1 overall.
You got Travis Etienne coming back, who, you know, again, how's he going to do? Come off injury, blah, blah, blah. But I think the kid's an enormous talent. Definitely great speed, good hands. Trevor Lawrence ran for 334 yards last year as a quarterback. You know, that's not too bad.
He had to
show those skills. He absolutely did. Hey, 334, that was good enough for what's that, about 7? You know, obviously Allen Murray had more. Fields, again, another one running for his life. Even Taysom Hill just edged him out. And Patrick Mahomes is on that list. But hey, like you said, he had to, but he was still capable of doing it. I am looking for something from Trevor Lawrence. I think he's a value. Obviously, he's going to be my QB2. I'm going to have someone else before him on my team. And so I'm probably not carrying a second QB unless I'm in a 2 QB league, Superflex, something like that. But keep an eye on Trevor Lawrence, just like the rest of us.
I'm taking Trevor Lawrence over Justin Fields, that's for sure.
I'm taking anybody over Justin. I'm taking Watson over Justin Fields.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Zach. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence definitely going to be someone to watch. But you know what? I'll put him in the top 15. I'll put him in the top 15 right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I love it.
Over there. You're not the only one who can make big predictions over there.
I love it,
I
man.
see what you're doing. Hey, look, so that's really going to take us through this second tier, through the guys that you're really going to see in these mid-tier rounds, round 7 to round 12. I think of most of these names, with the exception of Justin Fields, are probably in the right spot. Obviously, I think Brady's too low. I can see Wilson climbing out of this zone, and of course I can see Stafford climbing out of this zone. I won't be surprised at all to see Carr go higher, go in the top zone as the drafts go on. But I think most of these people are probably right about where they should be.
I tell you, with these mock drafts, a lot of people are not drafting the way they would really draft. That's for sure. I mean, it's like they play super careful when it's go time. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's why you see all these changes. But good coverage in the second round. So if you didn't see part 1, go back and watch part 1. See the guys that are going in the top round, because you probably heard us open up with Brady, and you're like, "What? Wait a minute, why is he in the top round?" Look, that's just how mock drafts go right now. It is mock draft season. You guys see some crazy stuff. Speaking of crazy stuff, 4th and Flex, go over there, check them out. Those guys are crazy good. Go over to the Armchair Athletics YouTube channel. You'll find their videos there. You can find the link over to the 4th and Flex. If you didn't, just go straight there, and you'll find great content on Armchair Athletics from a lot of people: 420 Fantasy Hustler, 4th and Flex, Jonesing for Answers, and of course us, Yards After the Catch. We appreciate you guys stopping by. There is a part 3. We're going to talk about the guys that we haven't talked about yet. Names that QB2s, maybe QB nothings. I don't know. We're going to find out on the next show. Thanks to Bandy for joining us. This is Yards After the Catch. We'll see you guys on part 3 and all throughout the fantasy season. Have a good one, guys.